You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
it's impressive.
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Chuck, do you think this is a game? Do you think this is a game?
I guess so. Yeah.
Secret word of the game?
Secret word of the day.
Today.
Is that what I said? Game?
This is no game, Chuck.
This is no game.
This is real life.
Secret word of the day game. Secret word of the game. Secret word of the day game. Secret word day of the word. Secret word
of the day.
Secret word of the day game. So, sometimes my brain, shockingly, it's my mouth is faster than my brain, and that should come to no shock to you.
I had 2 people this weekend say to me, and I chuckled both times. Well, what happened on Thursday and Friday?
Thursday was just a bad day.
They're like, you guys were a little off.
Thursday we were completely off. Friday I thought we were pretty good.
You guys were a little off.
Thursday was
I laughed because I was like, you could separate Thursday and Friday from all the rest of them?
You know, I keep running into people that say to me, "Man, just don't let those guys give you a hard time." I'm like, no, I'm a big boy. I can take it.
I love those people.
Including a guy at the gas station yesterday. Me and the boys were filling the lucky lady's car up with gas, which was, man, that was comedy.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, Jeff. I love that Chuck gets those. Don't let those boys, be hard on you.
Don't let those boys.
Here was a question I got this weekend. Friday night, somebody said to me, "So what's Heinz' story?" How much time do you have?
How much time do you have? I'm sure you get those questions. I'm sure you get those questions, including Caden. I ran into Caden. He says, "Good morning, fellas." I met Caden in the parking lot at a local restaurant on Saturday after our little to-do on Optimum Game Day Live. The lucky lady wanted to have breakfast, so we went and got a little breakfast together, which we hadn't done that in quite some time. Just the two of us.
That's great. I was wondering what you did after the show.
I figured you were. I didn't bother to text you or
Jeff and I mean, we had a group chat going.
Did you?
Yeah.
What was going on?
I wonder where Chuck is right now. I wonder if he got enough nourishment this morning before the game.
I talked to Caden. No, I talked to Caden. I've got Caden. Met Caden, his daughter. They've been to a soccer match. Blah blah blah. I'm horrible at figuring out this math problem. What has to theoretically happen to win the conference? Oh my God, I haven't even thought about that.
All right, give me a few more minutes.
You were really good at this last time, Jeff. You were really good.
Let's see. Nearly as much fun as watching Texas Tech success is watching all of the finger pointing and angst downstate. Yeah. Washed Up Guy says this: maybe the head coach is so tired of answering asinine questions from the media about the quarterback situation, is using the all 3 line to deflect those asinine questions. Let me just tell you, as a guy that has been in almost every post-game press conference and almost not all the Monday ones, but a lot of the ones the week after, and who's asked some of these questions, I would tell you that Coach McGuire's level of asinine is nowhere near what Coach Wells or Coach Kingsbury or Coach Tuberville experience. We're not even close to the level of asinine yet in terms of, who's going to start at quarterback. So I think we've been overly educated with our questioning about the quarterback situation. So there hasn't been any asinine yet on that, in my humble opinion. Again, as someone who has asked questions like, is there a strategy?
Is there a strategy?
Well, because he used 2 kickers, okay? Is there a strategy there? Or, are you going to call the plays? Or would you ever give up calling the plays? Or
Those weren't dumb questions.
I didn't think so, but they were one-word answers, yes and no.
If you had asked him if there was a strategy to call in the plays.
I think I asked Coach Wells a question once, and he wanted to know if there was a question there. He liked questions, not statements, okay, which is fair.
Yeah,
which is fair.
Coach Wells and I came from the same school there.
Yeah, he appreciated a good question. He didn't always get good questions, but
nobody appreciated a good question
like
more than Chris Beard.
Nobody.
And nobody respected the question more.
Nobody. Or the opponent's head coach.
Right, because we faced like everybody was a Hall of Famer.
Do you think down in Austin, when they play Tech, he calls Mark Adams a future Hall of Fame coach? Do you think he does that?
I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so.
He probably calls us a Hall of Fame fan base, though, right?
Oh yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame. They got a Hall of Fame fan base up there.
Oh, that would ruffle some feathers.
I think he just needs to worry about winning ball games, But I guess anyway. So hey, let me ask you this, because we talked about this on the post game yesterday on Saturday. Garrett Luft and I. Was there a turning point play in the game for you on Saturday where you went, okay, boom?
I thought the game could still be in jeopardy up until you made the pick right before halftime.
Okay.
Because if they had made it 17-10 right before half and they got the ball to start the second half, it's a game. Mm-hmm. Man, it's a game.
Okay.
I thought that was a huge play.
Okay. And I thought, just from psyche and everything, because of what had happened the two previous games, I thought the 46-yard field goal by Trey Wolf to make it 17-0 was a big play in the game. Because you had missed those field goals previously against K-State and Oklahoma State from about that distance.
So it didn't allow them to gain any momentum from missing that.
Right.
But yeah, that's okay. I can buy into that being big.
Okay. I asked that specific question of Coach McGuire after the game. He didn't exactly answer the question, but here's what he said about, was that a turning point in the game?
Sorry? I was doing math, trying to figure out this thing.
Here we go.
Give me turning point in the game. Hang on, let me get to the right page here.
Here we go. Coach McGuire, turning point in the game. It's on me. I'm sorry.
Second quarter, turning point in the game. Here we
You
go.
know, I was really, that was the bye week, and then we haven't practiced in the stadium at all this year, other than like fall camp scrimmages. And Wednesday, our last break going into our last three periods, we came down and did them in the stadium. And we did that because we wanted to end practice with the missed kicks. And so we literally had, the 4 balls set up again on what we missed. And, there's whistles going off. I'm standing in their second step, so they have to retrace their steps. I mean, I'm blowing the whistle, calling timeout. Gino's kicking. I mean, anything we could do to create chaos. And, you could see those guys. I mean, they had a lot of confidence in practicing that way because, Wolf would be the first one to tell you, I mean, his 3 misses, he has not hit the ball well. It's not really that he's been short, and it's not that he's just pushed a lot. It's just they haven't come off his foot. And I think, just not worrying about being perfect and striking the ball, doing everything you're supposed to do and just striking the ball, had a lot of confidence.
So anyway, that's what I thought. My opinion was that was a big confidence builder for that whole team because they had emphasized that. And he had told us on Monday that they were going to do that they were going to go into the stadium. And then after the game, he said that they actually had done that and set that up, and Wolf kicked that field goal. And I don't know. For me, it's like, okay, that made it a 3-possession game. But certainly I would certainly agree with you. And I think Coach McGuire would probably agree with you more, Jamie, on the interception there right before halftime because of what you said and because of what he said about how he had screwed up and that Rabbit bailed him out. He said Rabbit. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. We just call him Dadrian Taylor Demerson.
Which is difficult. It's a lot of names to remember.
DTD. Maybe we should just call him TD. Taylor Demerson.
He's a defensive back. So
I know.
Yeah.
TD preventer.
Mm-hmm. I think I can buy into it being a big that it was big to hit the field goal. But I thought that pick was really big in the game.
Raiders dad says this. Sometimes Chuck reminds me of my 5-year-old. He'll be in the middle of a statement that he hits you with, "Hey, Dad," before he's finished. In this case, it's, "Hey, Jamie." Surprise.
I've never known anyone to interrupt himself more than Chuck.
Just the two of us, we can make it if we try. Those lyrics work for you too.
Two of us.
You too. It's sometimes hard being me, Jimmy.
Hey, listen to Caden. Don't let us be mean to you. Whatever.
So Caden didn't say that. It was another guy.
Oh, it was a different guy.
Different guy. Yeah.
Listen to him. Fight back.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is the 24th day of October, 2022. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Yes. 1939, Joe DiMaggio wins the AL MVP. Jimmy Fox is a runner-up. 1963, Sandy Koufax is a unanimous winner of the Cy Young Award. 1968, 16-year-old American swimmer Debbie Myers wins the inaugural women's 800-meter gold medal in 9 minutes, 24 seconds at the Mexico City Olympics. She's the first swimmer to win 3 individual gold medals at a single games. She also had won the 200 and the 400 meters. 1974, Billy Martin named AL Manager of the Year by the Texas Rangers.
Fun.
He replaced Ted Williams as the manager.
5 years later, Billy Martin punches a marshmallow salesman and puts his job in jeopardy.
Chuck's favorite. Chuck's favorite sports day ever.
Not necessarily, but it's funny. And he would lose his job over that, too.
1989, after a week's delay due to the earthquake, the World Series Game 3 is played. 2004, 10 people, including NASCAR driver Ricky Hendrick and 4 family members, are killed in a plane crash near Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. The plane owned by NASCAR team Hendrick Motorsports. 2021, Tom Brady becomes the first quarterback in NFL history to record 600 touchdown passes when he hits Mike Evans in the first quarter of the Buccaneers' 38-3 rout of the Chicago Bears in Tampa Bay. He sure could use some of that this weekend, huh?
Yeah.
Not a good bit.
He thinks he's almost done.
You say that now, and now they're going to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl. Thanks, Chuck. That's what happens. When you criticize him in that way, when he's done, he wins the Super Bowl. And that's just you. That's all of us. We've all said he's done, then he goes and wins the Super Bowl. It's National Bologna Day. So, right up the alley for this show.
If I never eat another piece of bologna, it'll be too soon.
I haven't had bologna in a long, long, long time, but I sure do like it.
Happy birthday to Ryan Reynolds, who's 46. Pele, 82. Amelia Clark is 36. Weird Al, 63. Al Leiter, 57. Bill O'Brien, 54. Scott Drew, 62. And Doug Flutie is 60 today. And on this day in 1901, something you could not pay me enough to try, a 63-year-old schoolteacher named Annie Edison Taylor becomes the very first person to successfully take the plunge off of Niagara Falls in a barrel and survive. And that is this day in sports history.
I wonder why they could do that in 1901, but can't do that in 2022.
Fairly certain you just get arrested now, so there's a little bit of a difference.
That's probably a good answer.
I mean, when you think with all the technology that we have today that we could design a barrel that somebody could get into and get pushed off the side of Niagara Falls and survive?
Maybe people are smarter now.
Or maybe people are just tougher in 1901.
Oh, I don't think there's any question of that.
Yeah.
I mean, when was the last time somebody attempted it?
I don't know.
Yeah, again, maybe we just got smarter.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many failures there were to go with that one successful attempt. All right, time for the secret word of the day, because if you're tired of the national contest where, you got to compete against 11 million people or 250 million or how many ever million, you just got to compete against City of Lubbock in this one. And the outlying area of the Double T 97.3 wide listening audience, you go to doublet973.com, enter this word, and you could win $10,000 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone, where they make your house a home every single day, but Sunday they rest on that day. 6:45 on this 24th day of October, Orioles, O-R-I-O-L-E-S, Orioles. It's been some time since the Orioles have been competitive. They were this year, but not competitive enough to get into the playoffs. But
they didn't miss by much.
Nope. Orioles is the secret word at 6:45. Okay. 6:50 this morning here on the Morning Drive. All right, mathematician McGuire, you have figured out how to get the Red Raiders a Big 12 conference championship, right?
Well, getting into the championship game.
Which
gives them a chance to win the championship. Then they have to win the Big 12 championship game. But TCU wins out except Tech, leaving them at 8-1 on the year. Tech wins out, finishing at 7-2 on the year in Big 12 play.
Okay.
Kansas State needs to lose to both Oklahoma State and UT the next 2 weeks. That will have them finish at 6-3.
Oklahoma State and UT?
Yes.
That could happen.
That can happen, but their schedule gets significantly easier afterwards. That we are really pulling for the Longhorns and Cowboys the next 2 weeks if we want Tech to get in the Big 12 championship game. And I don't know how I feel about that.
And that's it?
You've only got 2 conference losses, Oklahoma State and K-State. Oklahoma State already has 1 loss. I'm sorry, they have 2 losses now. Oklahoma State needs to do something.
No, Oklahoma State has just 1.
Oklahoma State needs to do something. They need to get 2 more losses. I got to figure that out. This might be a whole lot harder. Give me a minute. Forgot about the Cowboys.
I'm sure there's it's possible.
Let's get up here on the Yates Learning Center chat line. Now, PJ says this: we probably got smarter, Jamie, but we are definitely not tougher. Soft folks in this day of age.
No, I think Chuck's point about that they were tougher back then is 100% right.
Somebody wants to know, how's the weather, Chuck? The weather's, well, it's raining. I feel like I can take partial credit for that because I woke up at about 3 o'clock this morning and realized that I had water running outside on my little bit of my grass. So that part of the grass got really well watered yesterday.
It's good.
Okay. This, with regard to the field goal on Saturday, this guy's correct. Again, not always accurate, not always fair, just try to be entertaining. It made it 17-3 and got the field goal back that West Virginia had just kicked, right? Not 17-0. That's correct. But was still crucial in maintaining momentum because it was still now a 2-score lead, 2 touchdowns at least. And also they were going to get the ball back after halftime, which, as Jamie pointed out at that time, added to the interception's importance by Dadrian Taylor Demerson. Another guy that we had talked about on the pregame who lived up to our pregame talk-up about him. Both he and Malik Dunlap played, I thought, pretty well on the secondary for Texas Tech on Saturday. Malik had a breakup, and then Taylor Demerson had that big interception right there before the halftime. So there you go. One little tidbit in case you're looking for something to brag about Patrick Mahomes as if he needs anything. Chiefs won yesterday over the San Francisco 49ers. And how about this stat for Patrick Mahomes, who will have his name go up on the west side of the stadium on Saturday, and they'll unveil it. It'll go up sometime during the week this week, and he'll be here, scheduled to be here for halftime. No reason to think that he's not. But Mahomes gets his 56th career win yesterday, Jamie, in his 70th start. That ties him for most wins in the first 70 starts since 1950 with his 56th career win. He's tied with Ken Stabler. Now, of all the quarterbacks that I would have picked out to be a candidate that he would have tied, Ken Stabler, I would have had to have really thought about it before I got to Ken Stabler. I probably would have been more recent history moment guy like Tom Brady or somebody like that. But I mean, the Oakland Raiders under Ken Stabler, and he basically took over for George Blanda and Darryl LaMonica. Ken Stabler, who was left-handed from Alabama, was really, 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 really good. And those Oakland Raider teams were really, really good under his quarterbacking. He was a different kind of quarterback than Mahomes, but he could throw the ball, and he certainly was gritty and could lead them to wins.
And had a cool nickname.
Yeah, the Snake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he sure did. So there's your little talking point for the water cooler. If you've got some Mahomes folks that you want to share that with today, you certainly can if you weren't watching the game yesterday. All right, just before 7, we'll talk more Tech football next. Got to get to the Cowboys as well. They had a victory yesterday. It's more defensive, more of a defensive win than an offensive win because it was certainly way closer a game than the score indicated. But the defense did a tremendous job yesterday for the Dallas Cowboys.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Nice to have you with us this morning. Thanks for all your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet97.3.com to continue to contribute. It's presented by Happy State Bank. The Double T 97.3 mobile app is. All right, you can call us as well on the Benchmark hotline, 806-771-0973. We'll have Monday Night Football on the air for you tonight. It's the Patriots and the Chicago Bears tonight to close out week number 7. This game tonight will come to us from Boston. New England is their official name, which is really weird. There's it's just, New England,
And we'll have Game 5 of the ALCS today, too. Oh, no, we won't.
Sorry.
We won't.
Sorry about you.
Completely wrong use of sorry about you.
I'm sorry about you.
Congrats to the Astros. Oh, man, they dominated. They were by far the better team. So it's going to be a good World Series with them and the Phillies because the Phillies are on a roll too, but I just think the Astros pitching staff is just
too dominant.
And then their offense is really good too.
Stout.
So it's stout. Good word.
Stout.
Good word.
Stout.
Yeah.
But the Phillies are magical. They've got it right now.
Does it suck though that we have to wait until Friday?
Is it Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
I think it's Friday.
Friday's what I've seen.
It does.
I mean, I get that they scheduled it in case those went 7, but we didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go here, huh?
The way they scheduled it was really weird in the American League where they had the one travel day and then they were supposed to play 5 straight days, even though there was travel in between. That was odd. But yeah, the fact that they both finished so quickly. So now, I guess it's good for those teams to get everybody rested and ready to go and all that good stuff. But yeah, it should be a good series. You say the Phillies are magical, but I think real life being really good is better than being magical.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Astros are better.
No, If so, will you pick the Astros to win the World Series?
Yeah, I'll give. I said it on the chat line earlier. I'll stick with it. I'll go Stros in 6.
Stros in 6. Mm-hmm. Okay. The only thing is, the only thing going for the Phillies is. And I want to see him win one, but he's so far proven that he can't, is Dusty Baker. Just like, and I realize he doesn't play, okay? I realize he doesn't play anymore, but this will be, this is his 3rd trip because he went with the Giants, he went with the Astros, and now he's back with the Astros again, didn't go with the Cubs.
I don't think you can say he's proven that he can't
win.
Yeah, I don't think you can say that.
Okay.
You can just say he hasn't yet.
He hasn't yet.
Well, if it was proven that he can't, then we would say the series is over. Phillies win.
Why are we playing?
Right. It's not. He's not proven that he can't.
probably some Giant fans out there going, well, they couldn't win with us, you know.
Or he didn't win with us. You proven changes. You can't use that word there, right?
I guess so. I guess so far he has not proved to be a World Series champion as a manager.
That's
so
fair.
Far.
Yes.
So far.
Yes.
So far.
So now we've got Chuck disparaging flyovers.
No, I did not disparage flyovers. I love the flyover. I love the flyovers. Just sometimes they're
We have
slower than
Chuck
others.
disparaging his wife, who didn't post on her page, but on
she
his
did.
page.
He didn't disparage her. He was just his feelings were hurt.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
she did. I think she did post on her page.
Can you imagine being the lucky lady and like the flyover goes by, Jeff, and Jeff be like, man, that one wasn't that good. Yeah.
You know what she would just say?
As far as flyovers go, man.
She'd just say, NGE, never good enough. That's what she's probably muttering that to herself. NGE, did all NGE.
I just want to know when that was, when you said, that one wasn't very good.
I think it was I think it was the time, but I think it was game 2 of the season. That one was just like, that was all right.
And what was wrong with it?
I like the Jets. I like the Jets or the big honking plane.
What about the Sharks?
Okay. I like the ones that leave a shadow over, and you're like, man, if that thing drops here, man, we are all dead. You know.
Chuck, anything that flies over your head would give a shadow, including the cloud.
I'm talking about the big ones, like the big B-52 or the B-51 bombers, or I like the stealth plane too. I think that's always very cool.
Man, I was in a store yesterday afternoon, and I felt like there was planes about to land on top of the store.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what was going on.
We were at the gas station. We were right there at your store. Me and the boys. I heard that, and
Were you following me? How do you know where I was?
Well, you just said you were at the store. You were at the store. We could have given you a ride home. You probably walked, right? Did you walk to the store yesterday?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. But I mean, you said you were at the store. I know which store you go to. I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay.
Well, because you've shared that before.
Well, it wasn't near my house.
Okay. Anyway. Well, I heard it too.
Stalker. Yeah, it was really loud.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I could be wrong, but slower flyovers are better than really fast one. It gives everyone a chance to actually see and appreciate instead of a flash and a roar. And what was that? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. I enjoyed it. Let's see. Man, Chuck disparaging my bird. Wasn't it F-16s? No. I'm not gonna disparage your bird. Raider's dad. Man, he's kind of on my
I think they were
tail
F-16s.
today.
I only saw them very, very briefly because I had to turn my head and find them.
Okay.
I love the flyover. I think it's cool.
All right, so this is awesome off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. The guy says if it was around noonish, which it was those same 4 jets taking off to go home. Got to watch them right across from the airport. That's awesome.
Very cool.
That's about
That's
what time
awesome.
it was. It was a little before noon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the Cowboy game was on because I was listening to it on Double T 97.3. Yeah. The dulcet tones of Brad Sham.
Yeah,
all right, we've piddled away.
Cool.
We piddled away.
Sounded like they were landing on the store.
It did. Right.
They were just saying goodbye in the good old-fashioned West Texas.
I'm just going to tell you, I was heading for the camping and hunting section of the store that I was in because I was like, this is Red Dawn 3. Okay? I'm going to be prepared. Start filling up the shopping cart, Mrs. Lent. Let's go.
Do you have canned water in your basement?
Canned water?
Yeah, like for when that day comes.
Is there such a thing as canned water?
Yeah.
There is actually such a thing.
Why would I not just keep it in a water bottle?
I don't know. I just wondered if you're a preparer. Are you one of those people that has like 17 days of food stocked up in your basement?
No.
Rope and
not in my basement.
Matches and all those kinds of things.
There's usually multiple cases of water in the garage, but yeah.
Okay. Might want to get
canned water.
Canned water, right?
Can.
Well, because so that when we have the atomic bomb lands on us, then you've got it's protected inside the seal. JL, honest answer. You see Chuck at the grocery store and he has not spotted you. Are you going the other way to avoid him, or are you saying hi knowing it's just not going to be a simple hello? He's completely avoiding me. I can tell you that.
What makes you think it's never happened before? I probably, truth be told, it would be somewhere in the middle of that. I would keep my distance enough, but I would get his attention. I'd be like, Heinz, or hey, Chuck, or whatever, and then keep walking.
Keep walking, yeah.
That's probably what I would do. I mean, I would get his attention and then just move on.
I believe that.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
I completely believe that.
And it wouldn't be that I was avoiding you. It would be that I was avoiding the conversation.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Bullfighter, this is probably a good thought. Not a good thought, but I mean, it's probably accurate. If an atomic bomb drops on our head, I don't think you have to worry about the seal on the canned water. You think? Can keeps the light out and lasts a very long time. Thank you.
Who needs canned water when you have canned Mountain Dew, Chuck?
I don't know.
And actually, truth be told, I bet the Mountain Dew would outlast the atomic bomb. I think that's the one thing that may survive.
Somebody says this. How about the F-18 Super Hornet doing the Cobra move over the field? I guess I did not see that.
That would have been fantastic if we had seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that in person.
7:25. Jamie's got a question of the day next. We'll get to some football talk as well here this morning.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right. What's your question of me and Jeff?
And the audience.
And the fine listening audience.
All right, I'm going Red Raider quarterback question.
Okay.
And so my question is, A, do you think Baron Morton starts on Saturday against Baylor? And B, do you think we will just see one starter the rest of the year?
A, yes. I think Baron Morton will trot out there as the QB1. And B, yes, unless he gets injured or has.
You can't do the unless. Yeah.
A, yes. B, no. I don't. Okay. A, yes. B, no.
You're just kind of going off of the history of what we've been through at the quarterback position.
Yeah. Or performance. He may just fall flat on his face, and they may go, well, we need to make a change.
Okay. Jeff,
I don't know.
He's thinking really hard over there.
Because
he's still figuring out the conference championship thing.
No, we need a lot of help. Win out, we need some help. There's your answer.
Still trying to figure out what is a bad flyover.
Yeah. There's no such thing. Helicopters make a good flyover. Stick with Shuck until proven otherwise. I'm going to go Shuck, but no, I don't think.
What?
I'm still going with Shuck. It's who I think is who your better quarterback is. Since the beginning of the season, I still thought I'm sticking with that answer.
You think he's going to start on Saturday?
I think he's going to start Saturday, and no, I don't think we'll see. And yes, I think we'll see more than one starting quarterback between here and the rest of the season.
I have to laugh at myself a little bit because going into the weekend, I thought Shuck had a great chance to be the starter on Saturday against Baylor, and felt like it would take Barron looking really, really good again to get that done where he's going to be given the start against Baylor. And as I think back, we all knew that West Virginia's pass defense wasn't good. And if there was one game where your quarterback probably was going to be able to shine, it would probably be, as far as Big 12 play, it would probably be this one. I don't know, Kansas's defense, leaves a little bit desired there too. But West Virginia is just playing so many young guys on the back end, and they haven't been able to be a big factor of putting pressure on the quarterback this year. So it did feel like that was going to be the game, that you would see a quarterback really shine. So I'm changing where I was last week, and I feel like Baron Morton is going to start against Baylor on Saturday. And I'm going to say sooner or later we're going to catch some breaks when it comes to injuries at the quarterback position.
Okay. And
things are going to level out. So I think it's Baron Morton for the rest of the year as the starter.
Okay. All right. I'd be shocked if Tyler Shuck was the starting quarterback against Baylor.
From everything we've heard, and we had,
it's
again. We have
the confusion of
maybe that's
Coach McGuire,
and maybe that's
the way
by design.
He's talked about the quarterbacks keeps me from saying shocked.
Okay,
but I would be with you. I would tone shocked down a little bit, and that would be a surprise to me.
But
it's just, there's that whole thing about, and we touched on this a little bit last hour, Chuck. That whole thing about you're not supposed to lose your position for injury. Okay, right? That's like this unwritten rule in sports that I don't know that anybody even follows. But it's not like we have this long history with Tyler Shuck where he's our guy and he deserves his spot back. I mean, he played less than a half this year.
Right.
He played 4 games last year, and and then he was out. And then we were told at some point, oh, he's going to be back next week or 2 weeks from now. And then the next thing we heard was
he's shutting it down.
He's shutting it down for the year. Well, you can speculate on that, whether he shut it down because he wasn't healthy or he shut it down because I want to save my eligibility for next year.
But he's got another year too.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is he didn't grab the job and say, this is my job. I'm the starter. I'm running with it. He said, I'm tapping out.
Adios, muchacho.
I'm tapping out for the rest of the year. Okay. So I feel like the program does not owe him, oh, this is your job, you get it back.
Yeah, I don't think he's owed that. I agree with you.
Baron Morton has played well 2 weeks in a row, and probably, again, this may have been a weak defense, but that West Virginia had, but Oklahoma State's I don't think we would say is weak.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like he's earned the right to start again next week against Baylor, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree. And even though I know that you're saying, hey, well, we knew that West Virginia's pass defense is the worst that we'll face, blah blah blah. I mean, still, we're not. We haven't exactly lit it up over the last few years, even though we kind of have. I mean, to see the beatdown that we saw on Saturday, that's not something, unfortunately, that we've been accustomed to over the last few years when it comes to a Red Raider football team in Big 12 play.
No,
not named Kansas.
Again, and being +3 in the turnover margin or whatever is huge.
Yeah.
And
we had three interceptions and a fumble recovery.
Yeah.
So
Plus
the
4. Yeah.
And that's part of what makes my struggle to think who's going to be starting quarterback, because I'm also trying to put my head in Joe McGuire's thoughts, and that he is.
Did you just call him Joe?
I said Joey.
Oh,
I meant if I did, I really meant Joey. And Joey McGuire's thoughts.
They're tight now. The Jay McGuires have united.
And also adding in the concept
Jay to each other. Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry, Jeff. We're not going to talk. We promise.
Trying to put my head in where his is at with regards to this is the second time Shuck was named the preseason starting quarterback. After it was named, heads and shoulders above everybody. If he's healthy, he's going to be ready to go. These are all the things we keep hearing. I also seeing what Morton has done the last 2 weeks. That's why why I had to think so much on what's going to happen this week. I don't think it's going to be a lockdown decision. We're going to probably find out when he trots out there on Saturday. I don't think they're going to name a starter until then. I think we're going to have another one of those weeks.
Well, he said, Saturday, we'll have all three, and all three will play. And then he said we'll probably begin things with Morton, but then said also that we'll determine who gives us the best chance to win on Saturday. Well, I get that, but it just seems like that Baron Morton gives you the best chance to win on Saturday right now. Here, let me throw one other thing at you. I thought his arm strength on Saturday really showed out because it was windy, and he threw into the wind at times across the field. And I'm not sure anybody else on that in that quarterback room can make some of those throws that he made on Saturday in that wind.
It was windy. I don't know how far down on the field, how much that affected the passing game. Because, when you're down there in the hole, if it affects it that much. I don't know, because we haven't seen that much of Tyler Shuck this year, if he gives them the best chance. I get what Jeff's saying, though. I mean, if Coach Kitley said he's head and shoulders above and better than the other two, it was an easy decision for us. After this decision was made, that he was the guy. It was an easy decision.
It wasn't even a conversation.
Then that makes me think, I don't know, maybe he does give us the best chance. We just haven't seen that much of it. And right now, I guess I feel like Barron's giving us a great chance right now. Don't mess with it.
Mm-hmm. Gunslinger. Right. Somebody says this, Morton is starting the rest of the year. There is no discussion. Okay.
I wish it was that simple.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's that simple.
I really want Jeff to call Coach McGuire Joe the rest of the year.
I wonder if he said, like today, he said Joe, and the Coach McGuire, hey, it's Joey or Coach McGuire. It's not Joe.
It's funny because a lot of adults probably don't go by Joey, right? They go by Joe.
Yeah.
But he goes by Joey.
I mean, yeah.
I'm a fan of it.
Somebody else says this, Tyler starts and Tech wins out. Wow. So if all three quarterbacks are going to be utilized on Saturday, we're going to be utilized on Saturday, why didn't he put anyone else in when we were so far ahead? Donovan Smith did come in.
Yeah.
He threw one touchdown pass, too, in the ball game.
That will be important later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Coach Joey, hashtag good job, and thanks again for beating Texas.
Way to go, Joe.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
We'll review upon further review at 8:30. We'll review our Statements of Old Proclamation from Friday at 8:45. I know of one person that got one thing right, so we're not gonna get skunked on our bold statements.
I think I can go ahead and say this. This might have been collectively our best bold statements ever.
Oh, wow. It's a low bar.
Sure. We collectively as a group missed one of our items by 1 yard, and one other item by one turnover.
Wow. And I will tell you this, upon further review goes to a tiebreaker. So I'll leave you guys on the edge of your seats there. Okay. All right. Let me give you a couple of good numbers that I would have not thought would have been the case going into the game based on how this team had done. Going into the game, West Virginia was 50% on third down conversions. They're like 45 of 90 going into the game. Against Texas Tech, they were 4 of 14 on third down. And 1 for 2 on fourth down. So good job defense in getting West Virginia off the field. Okay. The Red Raiders on Saturday were 9 of 20 on third down and 6 of 7 on fourth down. I think the 9 of 20 is pretty impressive on third down. I hate that you had to go to it 7 times on fourth down because I think that's playing with fire. But I did like throughout the game the second effort of the football team. I thought the second effort there was a conversion that Baron Morton got because of second effort. There just seemed to be a lot of second effort, even from the beginning of the game to the end of the game. I thought that it just stood out to me a little bit more this week than maybe when you're winning big, that helps that. But just, I don't know if you had it. I don't know if that even popped into your brain at all about what you saw in terms of effort.
Yeah, I haven't seen time this year. I guess the one time was when in the NC State game where the player thought the player had stepped out of bounds and you didn't tackle him and he scored.
Sure.
That's the only time and even then that was explainable and understandable, whatever. I've never questioned the team, how hard they played.
No, and I'm not doing that. It just I don't know, it just seemed to, the extra seemed to stand out to me a little bit. Okay. Time of possession, West Virginia had dominated other teams in time of possession. Texas Tech, 33 minutes and 51 seconds. West Virginia, 26:09. Of course, that makes sense when you run 103 plays. But you ran 103 plays and you only had, well, I guess 7 minutes is, well, almost 7 minutes is pretty substantial in terms of time of possession, because West Virginia only ran about 60 some odd plays, 66 total in the game. So I thought that was, and then the other thing that stood out to me, Jamie, red zone scoring. The Red Raiders were in the red zone 6 times and scored touchdowns 5 times. So
good.
That's really, really good. I mean, you need obviously more of that. West Virginia only got to the red zone once and failed to score a touchdown. They had to settle for a field goal. So anyway, just a couple things that, and then the points off turnover. Usually we talk about points off turnover when it comes to basketball, but in this case, you finally, and they had talked about this earlier in the week about the disappointing thing this season is that they hadn't been able to get their +3, and they got it this week and some, and they had 17 points off turnovers to West Virginia's none. I mean, you get 17 points off turnovers, you're going to win a lot of football games.
Sure.
So that was...
Especially if it's 2 teams that are pretty evenly matched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think you would say that, right, going into the ball game, that you felt those teams were... 2 teams were relatively evenly matched, right?
I picked it as a 4-point game, so yeah, I definitely thought it was going to be a lot tighter.
All right, here is Coach Joey McGuire talking about Baron Morton, basically his evolution over the past 2 games between Oklahoma State and then what we saw Saturday against West Virginia.
This is going to be kind of crazy, but he threw the ball out. He threw the ball away, I think I know at least twice, but maybe 3 times. Well, those were 3 sacks against OSU. Our O-line gets beat up sometimes, but I always tell you, it's kind of the play call, and it's the quarterback, and it's the receivers, it's everybody when that happens. And, we gave up 4 sacks, but we really should have only given up 1 sack against OSU because we were trying to make a play that the ball should just, we should throw it away. And I thought today that's what he did. He didn't get the 1 sack. I think we gave up 1 sack, and the one we gave up, they went 0, all-out pressure, and we saw it. And, that's me. I should have called a timeout.
That's Joey McGuire on Baron Morton. And I do think that he showed, and one of the things that Coach Kitley had talked about the week before, the Monday before this game, was that as he's in these games, his maturity and his in-game thinking and all those kinds of things would skyrocket, and he felt like that, he was, that he's a gunslinger, and that, but that once he's got more reps, that it would sky. We saw some of that from week to week. I mean, the improvement from Oklahoma State to what you saw on Saturday against West Virginia. And you can say, I understand that the defense is substantially different, but still, he had to make some decisions in the game that I thought showed big boyish.
Yeah, I think that you just touched on something there. I mean, West Virginia's defense not nearly as good as Oklahoma State's defense. That's a big factor. But I think you're absolutely right. I think practice is one thing. I think playing in the games is another, and that's where you can really improve the most from that experience. And I feel like he looked a little bit more just poised and in control this week. And so I got to believe that the game against Oklahoma State, the experience that he gained from that has helped him a bunch.
It's so funny. As I was leaving the building Saturday night, I ran into his dad, and I said, "Hey, Coach," I said, "Congratulations." He said, "Thanks." He said he's basically complimented his son, and then he said, "Man, how about that defense?" It was like, that's so Coach Morton is. It's like immediately and when I was talking to Garrett Luft about it, who knows him from his Monterey days, and he said he probably said that in an even keel, right? And I said, oh yeah, very even keel. He's just just a duck that glides across the top of the water. And it seems like his son is made up of the same kind of stuff. Probably so. Yeah. Not a surprise. Coach McGuire said he talked to Coach Morton after the Oklahoma State game, or actually Kenny Perry did, special teams coach and running backs coach, and Kenny Perry asked him about what he thought about the Oklahoma State game, and he said Coach Morton told him, he goes, well, I thought my son was tougher than that in terms of getting through the ankle and not being able to run through it and run hard. So it's pretty tough from the old man right there. Well, I thought you were tougher than that. Sure. Okay. There you go. Here is Coach McGuire on did he expect the amount of success they had with the ground game, because Taj Brooks went for 107, first time that you've had a back go over 100 yards in a game this year. I didn't. I thought we could have, kind of the magic mark rushing is 150, and haven't lost a lot of games. I think we got beat. I think the last game we rushed for 190 and didn't win the game, but that was kind of the mark. I think that tempo definitely is helping us run the ball. We've rushed the ball the last 2 games, the best we have all year long, and we've tempoed more in the last 2 games than we have all year long. And so I definitely think that it keeps D linemen on the field longer than what they want to be, and so I think we're in good shape, and I think that's affecting some of the run game. And then I think we had some clean runs today, running counter. It was a big week for that. We really emphasized that run this week. Even in our tempo, which you don't see a lot of people tempoing and running counter. It's mostly inside zone or outside zone, and we really worked on that, because that's really one of our better runs. And I think Taj and Sir Roderick really kind of feed off of each other, and both had really good games, and kept the chains moving when we needed to, also on short yardage. 54 carries for all the backs, all combined, for 239 yards, an average of 4.4 per gain. And so, you had 54 rushing attempts, 49 passing attempts in the game. Coach McGuire was asked about Cameron Valdez, why he didn't play. He was available. He didn't play because they went with the hot hands, who were Sir Roderick Thompson and obviously Taj Brooks. Mm-hmm. And I thought Bryson Donnell looked really good too. Sure, in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not that was a time when you would have used Valdez, but just all to say you've got a really solid, group of backs right there. Yeah, and I think too the point there too is not putting him in at that point in time in the game. Late. Especially coming off of an injury, there was no reason to risk that at that point in time with regard to Valdez as well. Donnell, 8 carries for 49 yards. His longest was for 38. He had the longest rush of the day by any of the Tech backs.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.